Hey, what's up, everybody? Here to bring another review. This time is of the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Psylocke from X-Men. And I'm excited because outside of Spider-Gwen, we don't have too many female characters from Kyoto. So it's really good to have this. And let's take a look. Really excited because it's a little different from what we're getting. But anyway, first things first, let's talk about looks and articulation. I'm really happy with the way this came out. I have minor gripes about it. But overall, it is a great piece and it's good to have. I think if you're an X-Men fan, this is something you'll definitely enjoy having in your collection. So, with no further ado, let's get started. First up, we're going to talk about the head and the body going down. Ooh, excuse me. The look is really nice, but the face is kind of soft in my opinion. While yes, it has the look of Psylocke, face-wise is just off. Even on camera, it doesn't seem like it has the perfect Psylocke face, but considering she's switched bodies a million times, she's been drawn by different artists. I know a lot of people will go to the definitive Jim Lee look, and you just don't have that here. If you can get over that, I don't think you'll have too many issues with the figure, but I know tons of people have a problem with the face not looking perfectly like their version of the comic book Psylocke that they want. The only other gripe that I have is being that I don't like the fact that you only get the flowing hair to the side. You only get one side. You don't get an option of pretty much doing what you want with the hair or having a chance to kind of change it in any direction. It's always going to pretty much flow in one direction, which kind of hinders the kind of way you want to do photos or whatever. So that kind of bums me out. But all in all, it's still overall enjoyable. Anyway, articulation. First up with the hair articulation. As you can see, it actually folds up. It goes up pretty high, comes back down. It does not rotate any sort of way, things like that. The head can look up and look down without being hindered at all. And it rotates left and right. The hair down here is soft, so you don't have to worry about it breaking or rubbing up against anything. Not that much of a big deal. Arm-wise, articulation is standard Kyoto. There's actually a joint that actually allows you to fold out right here. And you can rotate it. You can rotate and manipulate bicep swivel. It's standard Kyoto practice. Then we have the arm joint. It folds all the way up, a little bit past 90 degrees, maybe a little further. Then we have their dynamic wrist joint. Now, the thing about Psylocke that's a little different is you don't hear any of the clicking. There's no clicker Revoltech joint on this. It's a little different in that manner, so you have to be a little careful. Ab crunch is the upper torso. You actually get a nice bend going forwards. You get a great bend going backwards, as you can see here. Then you can rotate left and right. So as you can see here, she can rotate in ways that you normally don't get on most female figures. Just got to be a little careful. On the back side, I've attached her sash already, but it's on a ball joint you kind of can pull out, as you can see here. And then under it is another one to hold her katana, which you can actually rotate left and right, 360 degrees. And this one you can go up and down and rotate as well. So if I want to leave it this way, I can. This sash piece around her waist is pretty much attached to her. You can take it off, but it's a little tricky on this side. I believe it's glued. As far as leg-wise, actually, is there a lower crunch? Yes. So there's a lower ab crunch as well, too. So yeah, you can actually get a much deeper crunch for her. I couldn't see that before because it's pretty much invisible, but it is there. So that's pretty good. Then legs. So now the tricky part with the legs is you want to be able to rotate it in a way that you don't want it to be invisible, which is fine. I mean, not invisible. That it isn't visible with the gaps. And that's a little tricky at first, but once you get down to playing with it, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. As you can see here, I can rotate it left and right. There's a upper thigh swivel here. I mean, sorry, not swivel. It's an upper rotation cuff. So you can rotate here as well as up here, which is really nice. The legs are double jointed. I don't know how to make that bottom one move the way I want, but it's really crazy because you can actually rotate it this way to get crazy amounts of articulation. So you will be doing really cool ninja things with Psylocke before you know it. I want to just rotate that in, that thigh. There we go. So you can actually do all sorts of crazy stuff. There we go. So yeah, you can do ballerina moves or, well, I shouldn't say ballerina. Sorry, you can do ninjutsu moves when she learns ninja from having the Japanese body or other things. Then there's rotating pivot here. There is a toe pivot as well as ankle pivot. And my toe pivot is really tight, so I got to keep that in mind. But the thing about Kyoto is no one likes the posing because it takes work to actually pose this stuff. Mostly because no one likes the look of the joints. But when you do it right, it does look very, very well, almost too well. So once you get something going, you don't really have a problem. One of the things I want to talk about on the Psylocke as well is a lot of people won't like the fact that you can move the eyes. I didn't even know that was going to be a thing at first, but it is very much a thing on Psylocke. You can move her eyes. And now, as you can see here, I have to be careful because it's not the clicker joints. So she doesn't stand as sturdy as I would like her. So I'm noticing that as I do it going along. Real quick with the other faceplate, what we have here is the opposite face. And I want to point out, as you can see here, it just looks like a random anime face, right? But also, I want to point out that you can move the eyes. So one plate is her just regular looking, and then the other one is her smiling. So this is the smiling face. And I want to point out, as you can see here, you can move the eyes around. And I moved that one a little too crazy far off. So I'm going to move it around a little. As you can see. So yeah, you can move it around. As far as hands and accessories, she actually does come with a lot of stuff. So let's talk about that. You actually get 2 open palms. So these are for action poses, touching the floor, doing 3-point stances, things like that. You have the hand for holding her blades, psychic knives, things like, well, not the psychic knives, but you have hands for holding blades. And I have to be careful because I almost lost that. Then you have 2 open palm hands. These are more like relaxed hands, so let's keep that in mind. Next up, I want to talk about her blade and as well as the other blades that she come with. And I'm going to look for those because I actually put them off to the side. Now I can't find them. Oh, wait. There we go. So swords-wise, she gets 2 psychic energy and confused katanas. So you get 2 of these. Then you get 2 of her normal katanas, obviously. Next up, you have her sword when it's inside the sheath. And this one can be placed in the back when she's holding it for that time that she carried her katana with her. And you got to be a little careful when placing this in because at first it'll get caught back there. But once you actually get it on, you'll actually be okay. Right? So then we have that. I realized that was a little bit off center. But yeah, you see it places right there with no problem. Next up, you have the sword when it's outside the sheath. Obviously, you have that for when she takes the sword out. So you have one sword out and then you have the sheath. And again, like I was saying, the balance. That's the one thing I do not like about the hair, which is why I wanted to be able to adjust that. But if you can't, then that's why it's going to get extremely annoying in terms of posing, especially because her feet are so little. Next up, what you do get is 2 psychic knives, which are closer to the size of swords, because when compared to her katana, blade-wise, they are about the same size. Now, these are a little tricky when you're putting them on, and I advise you are very, very careful when putting these on. I almost broke one off screen before I started recording, and I want to talk about that real fast. So when applying these, I totally suggest you take the hands off, and you go like this, and you put it in without it being attached to anything, because getting them off, you have to rotate the hand to the side, and then place it in. And then once it's on, let's try this again. So her normal hands actually start off with it. They have the placement port for it. And you got to be careful because this is a very fragile piece. And I always have trouble with this kind of stuff because I'm really strong. I'm heavy-handed with this kind of stuff. But as you can see, you put it on and you rotate it through. So it does, while it doesn't go all the way in because I'm scared of breaking it, it's on there. So I'm going to leave that like that, and I'm going to put a different set of hands on. I'm going to put the relaxed hand on. All in all, I like the piece. It's very articulated, very nice. It's something I like with Kyoto. And it's not every day that we're going to get like a Psylocke like this. I'm pretty sure someone's going to do a custom head, so you'll have nothing to fear. For those of you who like third-party heads, I don't think you'll have any issue getting one, because this is by far the best body for Psylocke that you'll get. The most articulated one with the best accessories. Totally outdoes the Marvel Legend in terms of accessories and articulation. One thing I do want to add, though, is that the accessories from the Marvel Legend do translate it over well to the Revoltech as well. So keep that in mind. Real quick, let's jump into the size comparisons, because I know that's what you're waiting for. The first thing I want to do is I want to compare her to her Marvel Legend counterpart. And then size-wise, the Kyoto stuff has normally been in range with the Legend stuff, but the women's Legends bodies are always crazy big for Ascension stuff. And I think the Kyoto one is actually better for size, even while she's smaller. I think proportion and size-wise is a little better. I'm going to just, like I said, I'm not going to worry about the way she looks because just got to make sure she stands up straight. And this hair is the issue for me. So here she is next to her Marvel Legends counterpart. As you can see, she is significantly smaller. But again, I like her being smaller for the sake of she was in a Japanese woman's bodies for quite some time. So I like this size comparison for her while being smaller. Next up, we have her next to her Revoltech counterpart, which is Wolverine. And her being smaller than the Revoltech Wolverine is not that big of a deal for me. So it's not a deal breaker. It's whatever. He's still technically smaller than Wolverine. Next up, we're going to do Mezco Wolverine. And I'm doing a bunch of Wolverines because he's a small guy. So yeah. This is her next to Mezco Wolverine. There's that. This is her next to the Marvel Legends Wolverine. So, this is the yellow and blue suit one. And I think this one actually is a very good comparison size-wise to what's going on with the Kyoto stuff as far as Psylocke goes and Wolverine. I think this is a much better thing. Because I don't think Psylocke was ever that much bigger than Wolverine. So, I don't know her official height. So, who knows? For those of you who want to get your Marvel vs. Capcom on, here's her next to Chun-Li. I like this size. Here's her next to SHF Ken. For those of you who definitely want to get, your Marvel vs. Capcom on or your X-Men vs. Street Fighter. This is her next to the Marvel Legends version counterpart of her brother, Captain Britain. So, let me get him standing straight up. I haven't used this figure in so long. So, he is gigantic compared to his sister. Next up, let's do an Articulated Icons Ninja. Very nice size. I don't think that's too much of a size issue. Then we're going to compare to a normal SHF. I'm going to use a Kamen Rider. Here's Kamen Rider Decade. Next up, I'm going to use a Mezco body. My Kit Bash Cable, using the Mezco Punisher body. So, again, I think Psylocke's in a nice range. She's not too big. She's not too small. Has use of great accessories. I think the only thing really off is going to be that hair in that in the face. It's the only thing that bothers me. Here she is next to a Mythic Legions as well. Just to keep that in mind for you. All in all, I like the piece. I can get over the face and hair. I can do a bunch with photos. So it doesn't bother me as much, but I know it'll bother other people. So I keep that in mind for you guys. If you enjoy it, go out and buy it. If you like what you saw here, go out and buy it. If not, it's an easy pass for you. In the meantime, guys, hope you enjoyed. Hope you found it informative. Most of all, hope you do good, be good, drink your water. Later.